Hey, and welcome to this video lesson. This time I want to show you not only how to play Lady in Black by Uriah Heep, but especially how to make it sound the way Mick Box and Ken Hensley recorded it, focusing on how to strike the strings and how to shape your picking dynamics. At first glance, Lady in Black might seem like a very easy song to play. It consists of only two parts, a verse and a chorus, and in both parts we use only two simple open chords, A minor and G major. But when you take a closer look, the constantly strummed 16th notes at a tempo of 85 BPM can already make beginners break out in a sweat. Playing the song for almost 5 minutes with its rhythm and without mistakes is something you really have to learn first. But on top of that, Mick Box and Ken Hensley didn't just strum the chords mindlessly when picking, they separated the strings and also varied the picking dynamics quite a lot. So let's learn all of this in 3 simple steps. First of all, when learning a rhythm, it's always important to really understand how to count it. And if you look at the tablature here, you'll see that for the first step, where we simply strum the A minor chord on all allowed strings, I've written the accents above it. We're playing a 16th note based strumming pattern, and 16th notes are counted like this. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. If you haven't worked much with rhythm and counting yet, I recommend my video series on this topic. It's 3 videos that will improve your rhythm guitar and rhythmic abilities massively in a very short time. The first video of that series is linked up here. For our rhythm, however, we always leave out the 16th note after the 1 and the 16th note after the 3. So if we strum while counting, it sounds like this. 1 and A, 2 E and A, 3 and A, 4 E and A. If you want to play with recordings or a real band later, rather than just practicing on your own, it's really important to practice rhythms with a metronome as soon as you understand them. I'll play this rhythm for you now at 50 BPM. 1 and A, 2 E and A, 3 and A, 4 E and A. In our next step, before increasing the tempo, we want to learn how to separate the strings when strumming, just like the guitarists of Uriah Heep did. For a deeper understanding of why they divided the strings that way, I again recommend my video series where I explain the concept of string splitting in great detail. But for now it's enough to simply look at what the tablature tells us. On the 1, we play only the A and D strings, and it's especially important that on your A minor chord you place the thumb of your fretting hand lightly on the low E string to mute it. If you later play this part very quickly, you won't have to concentrate so hard with your picking hand to avoid accidentally hitting the E string. This applies to all open chords where the E string shouldn't be played. So if you're not used to this hand position yet, now is a perfect time to build the important habit of muting with your thumb. On the 8th note and the 16th note before the 2, we mainly play the high strings. 1 and A. On the next 2 counts, the 2 and the 16th note after the 2, we play the low strings again. Then on the 8th note and the 16th note before the 3, we go back to the high strings. And then the whole strumming pattern repeats. On the 3, again, only the low strings. On the 2 counts before the 4, the high strings. On the 4 and the 16th note, after the 4, the low strings again, and on the last 2 counts, the high strings. So this is what it sounds like when we play it freely. 1 and A, 2 E and A, 3 and A, 4 E and A. Always remember to count along when practicing freely so you can really get used to the rhythm. And now here's another example from me at 50 BPM. 1 and A, 2 E and A, 3 and A, 4 E and A. If you can play this now, one final step is still missing to achieve the perfect rhythm. the picking dynamics. This is something many guitarists are never taught in the beginning, and when they finally encounter it later, it often feels very difficult to get right. The guitar is a very expressive instrument, and we can shape both single notes and chords far more than most other instrumentalists can, simply by how we phrase certain tones and above all through our picking dynamics. To work on this, we're going to use a very helpful tool, the hydrogen drum machine. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you know that I always recommend this tool when it comes to understanding more complex rhythms. You can download the drum machine using the link in the video description and the first pinned comment. First, we want to program all the hits. Set size to 8 to get a 4/4 measure and resolution to 16 so we can program our 16th notes. We'll use the stick element as a reference for our accents and first enter all 16th notes except the ones after the 1 and the 3. Another reason why I always recommend the hydrogen drum machine is that we can set our picking dynamics under velocity right here. And if we want to match the exact dynamics used in the song, we leave beats 1 and 3 at their default level, maybe just a tad lower, set all 8th notes to full volume, and make the 16th notes in between so soft that they're just barely audible. This is how it's supposed to look. You can see that the 16th notes here are barely visible, but if I hit play now, they're still audible. To help you even further in learning the song exactly as it's played, I've now adjusted the tablature using the same colors you see in the hydrogen drum machine. This allows us to freely adjust our accents first. Now let's practice this freely first. Here's how every accent should sound like from a dynamic perspective. In the next step, we'll play everything together with our hydrogen drum machine using the 16th notes as a guide at 50 BPM. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. The last thing we need to practice is the chord change between A minor and G major. In the verses, this happens in the 3rd bar. In the chorus, it happens during the first half of the 2nd bar and the second half of the 3rd bar. In the tablature, you can see that I've written open strings on the 16th note before each change. If you want your rhythm guitar to sound clean and good, you should always lift your fingers before switching chords. Exceptions apply when changing between chords that share one or more notes. In those cases, you can keep those fingers down during the last stroke. For example, this is what it would look like when switching from A minor to C major. And back. So this is how you play the verses. This is the chorus. To finish, here are the verses and the chorus at 85 BPM with the hydrogen drum machine. And if you want to slow that down, you can do that in the video settings. That's it for this video. I hope you were able to learn a lot. Once you're able to play the song, you should definitely try applying this technique and style of accenting to other songs you already learned, and also use it for your own ideas. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and leave a comment telling me which songs or topics you'd like to see covered in the future. And please also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.